Hi, I'm Johnny Hawkins, the Warrior Lawyer, the only lawyer recognized in the state of Michigan as the Warrior Lawyer. I've been practicing law in the state of Michigan and in certain parts of the country now for more than 25 years, and I've been blessed and fortunate to have serviced thousands. And if I'm honest, maybe tens of thousands. I just don't keep track. But again, I've been practicing law for 25 plus years. My areas of expertise, or I shouldn't say that my areas of concentration, are in personal injury, in specific, all auto-related accidents. That means accidents involving an automobile at any point, be it pedestrian auto accidents, automobile to automobile accidents, large trucking accidents that involve an automobile, and watch this, accidents or incidents where a person is seriously injured who are entering or even exiting, attempting to enter or exit their motor vehicle safely, but they sustain a serious bodily injury. That too is a claim that can be made under the Michigan no-fault laws. But I'm coming on today to answer a quick question or clarify the issue of uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage in the state of Michigan. Did you know in the state of Michigan, the law requires every legally registered vehicle owner and or owner of a motor vehicle that is going to operate that vehicle on the road to carry at least the basic no-fault insurance? You have to. Did you know that your failure to do that, if in fact you're ever involved in an accident that it isn't even your fault, will result in you being able to claim nothing or takes away your right to sue? Let me say that another way. If you have a motor vehicle in the state of Michigan, either registered in your name or that you use often, you are required to have basic no-fault insurance. And if you're on the road and you don't have this insurance, if then on one crazy day you're then involved in a serious accident that either seriously injures you or potentially takes your life or the life of your loved one, if you didn't have insurance, I don't care if it was United UPS truck, a Federal Express truck, a U.S. Postal Service worker, the richest person in the world, and they were drunk as a skunk driving their vehicle. If you didn't have insurance at the time of the accident and you were driving your vehicle and something serious happened to you or your loved one, you cannot sue or could not sue in the state of Michigan. That's the law in the state of Michigan. So now you know. It's important to always stay insured on motor vehicles or with motor vehicles that you're operating on the road. That's the basic premise. Let's start there. But now let's move one step further, and let me say this to you. Given the percentage of individuals operating their motor vehicles on the roads in Michigan, but in particular in the city of Detroit vicinity, that are operating their motor vehicles without insurance, you better make it a point to keep or include also in your own coverage uninsured, UM, and underinsured, UIM, motorist coverage. It's imperative that you do that if you are head of household in any respect or the person responsible for making sure that the bills are paid in your house. Why? The statistics show that in the city of Detroit, more than 50% of individuals driving vehicles in that area don't have or can't afford to have insurance. What's that mean? By way of example, if you had your basic no-fault insurance and had a policy of 50 to 100 or 50 slash 150 or 250 slash forward slash 500,000, that would mean, and you had that coverage in bodily injury as well as in UM and UIM, because that's normally the way it works, that if a driver struck you who was uninsured, that you, on behalf of yourself, if you were insured with the proper insurances and had UM and UIM, you could recover by making a claim, not a lawsuit, by making a claim to your own insurance company for damages. So let's say driver A has no insurance and you're driver B, and you do have insurance, you have your basic no fault or full coverage, or you have full coverage and UM and UIM, and your policy is 250 forward slash $500,000, it would mean this in my hypothetical. Driver A runs red light and is a drunk driver. You, being driver B, has the insurances in place that I just said. If you were struck and seriously injured, or someone in your family, or someone in that car, your family, were seriously injured and or unfortunately killed, that you could go after that driver by going through your own insurance company, even though they had no insurance. Basically said, the person, driver A, that struck you, driver B, who didn't have insurance, you then would prove and present evidence and facts to support that they had no insurance, and your insurance company, through your contract with your own insurance policy, would have to pay you up to a max of $250,000 per person, or a max of $500,000 per total incident. In my example, that's uninsured. Underinsured is a little different, but I'm sure you'll be able to understand what I'm about to say. Let's say you have a policy of 250 forward slash 500,000, and the other person, driver A, has a policy of 100,000, 300,000. So, but you're seriously injured, and your damages, by way of compensation, entitle you to more than 100,000. You, if you brought a suit against them, would be able to first collect the first 100,000 from driver A, but then you'd have an additional 150 based on your policy of 250 forward slash 500,000 to collect or make a claim against your own insurance company. So if you fractured your neck, or you had a major spinal injury, or unfortunately there was a wrongful death as a result of an accident caused by another, in the underinsured motorist coverage example I'm talking about, you would collect first 100,000 from driver A, and then come to your own insurance company and say, but this is not enough to properly compensate me. I want to now make a claim against my own insurance to get the additional 150, so that you get a total of $250,000. That's the best example that I can give you for both uninsured and underinsured. I've explained to you why you should have insurance, just as a practical matter, and why you should make sure that you have uninsured and underinsured coverage. But you need to know this: the cost monthly for uninsured, underinsured is pennies on the dollar when you compare the benefit of having it. You owe it to your family, you owe it to your household to do right and do right by your family, to have basic no fault or full coverage in Michigan, but more importantly, uninsured and underinsured. So the maximum amount that you can afford, it's worth it. It's worth it. And with times being as trying as they are, we all know that not everyone can afford insurance. But we know that since the laws changed in Michigan with regard to auto insurance, the costs have gone down. So don't make it your excuse that because insurance is so expensive that you can't afford at least basic no fault. Don't do it, because I've told you the consequences of that. At least have basic no fault. But go one step further and make sure that you can afford the maximum in uninsured and underinsured. Do yourself and your family a service and a solid, and take care of that. And always get and always have on hand the maximum insurance coverages that you can have. In basic, full coverage, bodily injury, uninsured and underinsured. It's been Johnny Hawkins with some tips and information on the Michigan no-fault laws as it pertains to what? Requirement for insurance, what will happen if you don't have insurance, and what you should have at the very least because of the number of persons in the state that do not have insurance. Take my advice seriously. I hope it helps. Peace and blessings. And remember, you can always call me if you have questions. Make your first call count, as a matter of fact, if this is something that happens to you or your loved ones. And call me first. Call me, Johnny Hawkins, at 248-567-9990. God bless.